Hey, welcome to day 68 of my spiritual journal with your soul sister, Iona. So spiritual journal with me today is a Relationship Freedom Friday. And I have to say that it is my favorite day of the week for going live on the Soul Legacy TV YouTube podcast. So today I'm going to talk about all things relationship, attaining to spiritual business success without doing busy work, without being broke, and without experiencing burnout, so we can have that light work and lifestyle balance and build our business with ease, grace, and flow. So my Soul Legacy journal is called, my spiritual journal is called the Soul Legacy Journal. It's a notebook. So if you don't have anything to take notes or journal in, then go and grab a pen and paper because I think that you're going to love today. So we're going to journal. I call my journal 365 Days of Your Spiritual Awakening Story because as I went through my spiritual awakening, I started to journal even more. I went through a dark decade of the soul, literally, in every single area of my life. I redefined and I wanted to align. Things didn't look and feel the same in relationships. I went through a messy divorce, all the things, right? So that was my part of my awakening. I'll talk about that. And I call it a co-created soul path to spiritual alchemy for light workers. So we're going to dive in as part of my spiritual journal, my daily rituals and routines. This is me living out my journal and sharing it with you on the Soul Legacy TV, sharing about my spiritual awakening, sharing about my spiritual ascension and how I've been able to alchemize my journey so that I could share it with you. We're going to pull a card, which 2 cards jumped out today, so that's a bit special. So if you are new to me, I usually pull a card from Keepers of the Light, from Cal Gray. We talk about being grateful, gratitude, being grateful for each area of our life as we balance our light work and our lifestyle, including contribution freedom, health freedom, emotional freedom, environmental freedom, relationship freedom, spiritual freedom, and financial freedom. So we're going to talk about the Bank 50K in 50 Days challenge, and I will give you a vibrational money voucher to spend and to make memories. And then I will talk about chakras and energy healing. Robin's with us. Thank you for joining us, Robin. And I will share with you the book that I have listened to today, just a snippet of the book. So every day is part of my spiritual daily rituals and routines. To support my spiritual business success, I break down an area of my life. Today it's Relationship Freedom Friday, and then I put it back together and I set my intentions and I set my goals and I set my daily rituals and my routines and I journal about them. I visualize, I use my spiritual vision board. If you have not done my spiritual vision board challenge, I will leave it in the cards and in the description because this journaling process is a follow-on from that and it will make more sense. So good morning. Oh, there's no sound. Really? You can't hear me? Oh my, no sound after all that. I might have to go out and then come back in. Uh-oh. We're removed from the stream. You can't hear me still? Can you hear me or not? Oh, is that me or you? Uh-oh. Hang on. Settings. Layout, guest, general audio, iPhone, microphone. It says it's working, Robin. I think it's you. Is it you? Can't do a whole live stream without any sound and I can't check it. So it will be, nope, you can't hear me. Is it you? It's not you. No. It says my microphone's working. What I don't want to do is just cut it off and microphone's muted. It says my microphone is working. So go out and then come back in and see if it's working. Let me know. I'm going to carry on because Robin says she can't hear me. And if you can't hear me and I've got no sound, this is going to be pretty short live. Sometimes we get the techie stuff. I'm going to wait a second to see if Robin can go out and then come back in. I don't think I can. She said no. It says my mic is working. Hang on. I know you'll be able to try and let me see. Hang on. 1 minute. 1 minute. Private chat. No, I can't post a comment. It says my mic's working. I'm going to have to come off this. It says it's working my end. I don't know. She says no. Robin says no. Like a 5 minutes of a live. It's not. It normally works. I think it might be you, Robin. I think it might be you. It does say it's working my end. Let me go out and come back in. I'm going to have to create another live, I think. Audio. Hello, hello, hello. Microphone. Yeah, it says it's working. Robin, I think it's you. Come out and come back in. I think it's you. I think it's you. I do. I honestly think it's you. I don't think it's me. So this is going to be a bit crazy, isn't it? Should I come out and come back in? With the volume. I just did my volume. I'll hop out and come back and see if that helps. Thank you. So yeah, so Robin's saying that Robin's gonna do the techie just in case it works and I don't have like complete techie issues, and I'll probably just keep talking. And what I will do, because you can see this on your screen, is I'm talking about Relationship Freedom Friday, and I'm talking about going through your Soul Legacy Journal. What I would love to do is invite you into... Okay, I can hear you now. How weird. I think it was your volume. It said my volume was working. Yay, Robin can hear me. Woo, woo. Hang on. So Robin can hear me. Hang on. I can hear you now. I listened to one of your messages before the live and that worked fine. Oh, okay. I sent Robin a gazillion messages. So it's Relationship Freedom Friday. Robin, thank you so much, right? Because if you're watching on the replay and nobody else is watching live, so I wanted to make sure that you could hear me. And so if you don't know, Robin is our lead soul guided instructor for the Soul Legacy Academy, which I'm the founder of, and the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network, which I'm the producer of. So it's important that anyone who's watching and gets to hear me, but Robin comes on and hops on and supports us, and you've got your own YouTube channel. So I really wanted to make sure that you could hear, but I think that the sound is okay. I think it was okay. I don't edit my videos, so just saying. So I sent Robin a gazillion messages this morning, so that was kind of just me. So you're all good. We're all good. So I was talking about the spiritual awakening, and if you have a spiritual awakening, a story to share, then I have a co-author book series which will look a lot like this, called the Soul Legacy Journal, Spiritual Awakening Stories of 365. And I want to bring stories of awakening from relationships. I've had awakenings through relationships and soulmate relationship, twin flame, false twin flame, all things actually. And I will be sharing mine in the book as well. But if you are interested in sharing your spiritual awakening story, and you are a spiritual business owner, I have a masterclass where I'll share how you can do that. So I'm gifting my Bootcampers 1 page and my Masterminders up to 5 pages as I teach you how to build your own author and authority platform, your spiritual biz YouTube channel, your online course, all the things, launch with your own book, all the things. So I just want to share that just because I started to. Robin says, I didn't listen to them all yet. There was a lot. There was a lot. There was like a 20-minute one. Thank you for the shout out. You're welcome. So I'll give you a proper shout out. So it is Relationship Freedom Friday. Yay! It's one of my favorite days. You didn't hear that, Robin. I was saying it's my favorite day. I think it literally is. So I'm going to pull a card, talk about gratitude, talk about on the energy healing TV and podcast, which Robin is the host of and founder of the Energy Healing School. Robin talks about chakras and, well, energy, everything energy, obviously. Chakras are energy, energy center, and just aligning that energy. In terms of relationships, Robin will cover this, or just bring in relationships and how your energy is affected, especially as an empath, by the relationship with yourself and with others and your surroundings and all the things. And so today on the Energy Healing TV, as Robin shares her energy healing lifestyle, and that self-love journey, because obviously that relationship starts with us. And it is throat chakra healing Fridays. So Robin shares the throat chakra energy, and that's the one of the 7 chakras in that energy system. So I love that. And so the chakra crystal, I bought some chakra crystals as Robin was doing her 7 days to unblock your chakras and challenge, which is also on our YouTube channel. I bought those, and the crystal for today, whoops, which I've just held along with my gratitude stone before I've gone on the live, is, I think it's called Lucy. I don't know, you'll probably know. It's a blue crystal, not because I'm like, hey, crystals and Aries and fairies and stuff, but I believe in energy, and I know that stones and crystals have energy, and so I do Ho'oponopono, and just a little bit of I wouldn't say exactly a meditation before I come on, but just those few minutes to be grounded and segment myself in, or segment intend myself into this space with you. So that's throat chakra healing Fridays, and Robin will share all of the symptoms and all the things relating to how your throat chakra or your energy system might be blocked based on the relationship that you've had in the past as a child, and all your relationships throughout your life, and especially as a light worker, building your relationship with the world again, especially after an awakening, when you're like, the world like kind of feels like it sucks a lot and then just going back out there and putting yourself out there as well. So Relationship Freedom Friday, I love. And what we are going to do is rate our relationship freedom frequency. And if you don't know what that is, I will share that with you. So Robin, I'm going to ask you what your rating is today. I know on the Energy Healing Lifestyle TV, you talk about rating between a 1 and a 10 for your what would be your throat chakra energy Friday, which is TCEF. And so mine is a 10, and I'll go on to Robin's live today as well and see all the great stuff that she's got. But I just wanted to acknowledge that and say this is where I'm at with my throat chakra speaking. And so for Relationship Freedom Friday, it is my rating is an 11. And so Robin rates in terms of how blocked or clear or balanced or unbalanced or overactive or underactive or what are all the things. She'll do all of that and share that with you. That's how you do your rating. And I really do appreciate that, because it's helping me actually understand even more energy. And so the way that I do my rating, and we do our rating in the Soul Legacy Journal as part of our spiritual journal practice, is rating between a 1 and an 11. 1 being in soul funk, like low vibe, low energy, just feeling just not yourself, like just soul funk, like funky. You know what that feeling feels like if you felt it, especially if you've gone through that dark night, like maybe not as extreme as that, but you know what, also like 11, high vibe, connected to source, soul, high, your soul guidance, being led by your higher self, just being tuned in, just watching the nudges, like being an observer and having that relationship with yourself and your soul, looking at the world through the lens of your soul, not being as pushed and pulled by what's probably going on in your relationships or the world, other relationships. Do you know what I mean? So when we talk about Relationship Freedom Friday, it's all of our relationship, the relationship with ourselves, relationship with our soul family, soul clients, soul tribe, universe, angels, guides, and the world at large, right, as a collective, because we say it's consciousness, energy, we're all one, universal intelligence, but we have that humanness which separates us, which all week I've been getting my cards this to say that just remember that we are all source, we are all connected, we are all souls having a human experience, but it doesn't always feel like that. So my rating is an 11 today. I am buzzing. I'm quite a high vibe person anyway. I've learned to become a high vibe person. I've been through so much through my spiritual awakening, relationships, but loss of relationships, grief, that I look at life in a different way, apparently, to a lot of people, because people tell me that. So Robin says relationship freedom Friday is an 8. So equals an 8. So what we do in the Soul Legacy Journal is part of our spiritual journaling, right? And the Bank 50K in 50 Days Challenge, because this spiritual business success is about showing up, speaking out, and serving deep. And the relationship with you is going to determine how you show up, and all the relationships that you build, how confident you feel, and how willing you are to be open and transparent and vulnerable in the world, and not hidden behind closed doors. So if your relationship with yourself is like lower, then probably your relationship with others is going to be affected. So it could be the relationship with you as a wife, mother, sister, brother, husband, all the things, right? So as a coach, as a mentor, as a spiritual business owner, as a YouTuber, whatever your relationship, you want to think of those relationships. Whatever comes to mind for you is the right thing to focus on. You can journal on it. And then look back at what we do in the Soul Legacy Journal. So every single Friday on the Soul Legacy TV, I break down relationships and track and tune my relationship with myself, see how I've been with myself over the week. I plan that as well. So I talk about intentional living. All of this is to help me live with more intention and to live an intentional life. And so I want to look back at the experience that I've had with myself and with others over this last week. And then I want to see, okay, where do I feel like I'm at now? And what do I want to improve on? What do I set a daily ritual and routine to either improve the relationship with myself, meaning having downtime, or just going out in nature, doing the things that I really love, things that light me up and fuel me, and doing less of the things that have drained me, right? So living intentionally, and as I say, launching, leading, and leaving your soul legacy on a daily basis in the morning. How you lead your day, how you leave your day is your legacy. Oftentimes people think that, well, my legacy is after I've gone. No, this is the legacy that you're going to leave, the life that you're living, right? What you're remembered for. So last week, my rating was an 11. So what I want to say to you, Robin, is do you have your rating for last week? And was it higher or was it lower? And for you as well, watching on the replay, when you look at your rating, or you just feel into your rating, like, why is your rating the way that it is? So you can do more of that. If it's high, and if it's lower, like, why is it again the way that it is? And you can write down that as a spiritual journal prompt. And that's the same for each area of your life, each of these 7 freedoms that we talk about. And I know what I'm doing, and I know what's working, so you don't reinvent the wheel. And I just want to do more of that. Even though I'm high vibe at an 11, I still have tweaks that I could make. I'm happy with the progress. I'm happy with where I am, and I'm still tweaking. Do you know what I mean? So just because you're high vibing, it doesn't mean to say you don't have to do something to maintain or make it even better. And just because you're feeling low vibe, it doesn't mean to say all of your relationships have gone to pot. I was going to say gone to right? So Robin says it's dipped since last week, had triggers and challenges yesterday. Okay, cool. So thank you, Robin. And so as we and I'm sending you love for that. As we have the human experience, right? Because we're souls having human experience, it does affect our vibration, and acknowledging that and journaling that out and resolving it and putting solutions in place. Sometimes when we're triggered or we do have challenges in the moment, we're not able to see, oh, well, there's a solution to this, or we don't always think that there's a lesson behind this. We think our go-to thoughts, and Robin deals with this on the energy healing lifestyle, our thoughts and our feelings and our beliefs are running the show, right? So whatever thoughts, feelings that might keep us stuck in that lower vibration because of something's happened, we want to address that. We don't want to ignore it. We want to address that and see, is it the external that's triggered, or as the book The Untethered Soul, he says that it feels like you've got a thorn or a prickle on you, or like around you. When something triggers you, it's because something isn't being healed. And when you heal it, that thing could just happen and bounce out of your world. It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't make us a bigger impact. Also, T. Harv Eker says, which I find really helpful, like learning from other people. That's why I read the books every day. T. Harv Eker is saying that when a problem or a challenge or whatever it is you consider it like a deep problem when you are vibing low, or you're a version of yourself that is lower than that problem. So say the problem is at a level 5, like you can rate it. It's a level 5. If you are feeling, especially when you go for a dark night of the soul and that spiritual awakening, a lower version of yourself, and by lower version of yourself, I just mean not at your best self, and not functioning, not thinking, not flowing, or just not grown, right? Because we're always growing, that spiritual growth and that spiritual development. Then that level 5 problem is like, it's squashing. It's like, oh my gosh. And you'll know this because you will have gone through experiences and you almost like feel like you come full circle and you've faced that experience or that person or that whatever it is, and you've grown and it doesn't affect you anymore. I would say family relationships, when you go out to family occasions or what have you, and the things that people used to say that really used to bother you, like, why are you even saying that? You can observe and detach from that. So when you grow and you use your journal and your visualization, and you go to Robin and do all the things that you do for your spiritual growth and personal growth, when you've grown and that problem is still that level 5 problem, it comes up again, say on this cycle of learning and growing and all the things, then you realize that your relationship with whatever that is different. Your relationship with you've grown. You don't get as triggered. So wherever you are on that, when you journal, then when you come back, Robin, you were saying this. I don't know what day it was. I don't think it was yesterday. It might have been the day before. On the Energy Healing Lifestyle TV, you were saying about when you have that experience from the past. I just lost where I was going to go. I believe that I was trying to think which day it was, when you have that experience from the past and it's not the same when it comes back around again. Like I can't remember the example. I'll have to watch again and then just bring it in. But I know that when you are a version of you from years ago, the things you talk a lot about, the things that used to like tear you down, like used to really bother you and really would have you stuck for a month or even years, versus now it's like, well, I get to observe and the anxiety doesn't come up as much, or if at all. I've just got a message. That is funny. Yeah, all the things, like you just are a different version of you, so they don't trigger you as much as they used to. And I just got a message which I'm going to share because I think that's really funny that I got that message. I'm going to share that in a second. So how is your relationship with you? Where did you rate? That's the first thing we do. And when you jump out of bed on a Friday or whatever day where we talk about freedoms, notice that, and notice throughout the day as well, and journal about it. And set the intention, just write about it. How could I deal with it better? Why is it bugging me? Why is it bothering me? Whatever questions that come up in your head, then journal on it. You're not going to journal as I'm talking on the live. All right, thank you, Robin. I'm going to give you today's quote because I share a quote every single day on the Soul Legacy TV. I love people's words. Words are energy, and they're geniuses that have come before us, and we stand on the shoulders of giants, and that includes words. So for me, quotes, I love quotes. So this quote, oh my gosh, Dale Carnegie. And do you know what? When I look at the quotes, I think, is this the quote for today? Because I've read it already on my Momentum app. So I start my day by reading a quote, and I have a screensaver, and I have my to-dos. I just stop I pick up where I left off. You know, like when you're working and you go back to that workspace and you're like, what was I doing again? The Momentum app helps you to focus on one thing, and it gives you a quote of inspiration. So I'll see that throughout the day, and it'll help me raise my vibration and just know I feel close to the people's who I'm reading those quotes. I'm like, thank you for that. It's really helped me. So this is a quote for today. The person who seeks all their applause from the outside has their happiness in another's keeping, I think it is. So the applause, and I'll share how I interpret it. The person who seeks all their applause from the outside has their happiness in another's keeping. That's a quote by Dale Carnegie. So the person, if I want to have praise, applause, like somebody's approval, like from what I do, and that makes me super happy, and I am relying on that. So say for the spiritual YouTubers channel, for the SoulLegacyTV, the applause could be, I've got lots of likes, I've got lots of views, my hand's itching. Usually that means money for me. It's my right hand, don't tell me it's going the other way. It usually means money for me. So great for the bank, 50k for 50 days. So it really is itching. So yeah, so say it could be likes, it could be views, it could be all the things. And if I don't get any views and I don't get any likes and nobody comes on with me live, I'm like, that means I'm gonna be influenced by that, and I'm gonna be low vibe about it. I'm probably gonna talk myself out of it, probably never gonna want to do it again. There's lots of people who are around me that I'm reaching out to now as I'm doing the Bank 50k 50 days challenge, building more relationships and welcoming soul client income, right? That's it. You know, I wanted to start a YouTube channel. Oh, I've got a YouTube channel, I haven't done anything with it. And lots of times it's because we don't have clarity, we might not have the confidence or the systems and the strategies around it. So I want to build those relationships in the Spiritual Push YouTubers network and just say, you know what, it's okay where you are. You don't beat yourself up. You don't need the applause of somebody else. And because putting your happiness in somebody else's hands means that when somebody doesn't give you the like, somebody doesn't cheer you on, somebody doesn't say, yay, you're doing really well, which we all like to hear that sometimes, but it doesn't determine my happiness. I'm gonna be happy regardless, whether I get that or not. I'm gonna be joyful, I'm gonna vibe at the highest frequency, love, joy, empowerment, knowledge, freedom. So that's why I talk about freedom, because it's one of the highest vibrations. And knowledge, that's why I'm reading a quote, that's why I'm reading a book. That's high vibe for me. Might not be for you, but it might be. So Robin says, I use the example of an open wound versus a scar. Scars don't hurt like fresh wounds. We still have the memory, we know what happened, it's just isn't as painful when it's a scar. Thank you, Robin. So just tracking back to a little while ago when I was saying that, you know, the level 5 problem, and when you've grown, that so Robin's saying when you have that open wound, like it's fresh, it's like, ow, that really hurts. Like, don't touch that open wound. Or just being aware of that open wound, you might be like accommodating for that open wound kind of thing. And then when it's a scar, if you touched it, so I've got a scar on my shoulder, I don't even know which shoulder it is, I'm gonna feel it, just it's on my right. A scar on my shoulder from when I was 5. Hot water went on my shoulder. So there was a time that I was really I'm like, which side is it? There was a time when I was really conscious of it. There was a time when it was actually painful. I remember it. Like, I remember screaming. And I remember being shouted at for screaming. So that's a trauma, Robin, that just probably needs clearing, right? I don't know if it's still there, but I remember that, like my mom being so scared, like, just screaming, and just the panic of it. And so obviously I can wear things on it now, I can touch it, I don't feel the difference in that. Do you know what I mean? So imagine that scar or that wound had been more recent, then it's a different story. And sometimes when it's a long time ago, we might not even remember the triggers that we've had from that, but it's still prickly. It's like, oh, that's still tender. Or it might even have like a soft spot somewhere. But when we heal it and it's healed, then it just feels different. It just feels like, well, it's there and I can't do anything about it. I don't need to change it. I just need to just accept that it's there. So for me, I also will wear a bikini. I used to cover up my shoulder. And I forgot that, actually. I used to cover up because I was so skinny. I was just so thin. And I say skinny because I really was really painfully thin. And I covered up my scar as well, which I don't now. And sometimes I think I'd seen a picture of recently, and I saw a picture of myself, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I've got the scar. Even when in the mirror now, I don't look at my scar. I don't, not like I'm avoiding my scar. I don't see my scar. It's not something that draws my attention. However, this spot right here, that's more recent from my cycle, my last cycle, I'm like, why? Do Do you know what I mean? Why? Scars me. So anyway, it's not an open one, but we're good. So did you like the quote? Did you resonate with the quote? Hopefully you did. The happiness is in for you. And if you feel unhappy and you feel like you need that validation, there's something going on inside of you. So spiritual business success is a light worker, and being that beacon of light, we can't be pushed and pulled by, you know, putting our happiness in another person's hands. Definitely not. So before I talk about the book, The 5 Love Languages, I'm going to pull the card. But before I do that, I'm going to talk about, I just got a message. And so I got a message. So the relationship with myself, right? I said, you know, a couple of tweaks. And publicly journaling and publicly sharing my Bank 50K in 50 days experience, right? And I laugh because I'm like, you'd just be crazy, like a crazy lady, and not literally crazy. But it's fun for me to actually share that. Actually, I'm not attached to, not as attached, I would say, not as attached to failure, success, and selling as I used to. And that's kind of where I came from. I had this fear, low vibration, the low vibration emotions on the emotional scale. Abraham Hicks's emotional scale is fear, grief, and victim, and powerlessness. And I've been there. I didn't live there, but I was there with my spiritual awakening and the losses that I've had, but also trying to build a spiritual business and feeling fear of failure. So whatever fear it is, it's still low vibration, right? So if you've got fear of being visible, fear of building your YouTube channel, fear of talking to people, fear of getting on the phone, fear of doing masterclass, all things, it's exhausting. So I had fear of failure, fear of selling, and fear of success. So I'm not as attached. Obviously, I don't really want to fail. It's quite painful, but I fail publicly all the time. Like, okay, it's a lesson. It's okay. I'm okay with it. I'm not advocating for it and trying soul speaking it into existence, but I'm okay. Fear of selling, I'm like, dude, I will offer you so much value. The Bank 50K in 50 days challenge, you'll see. If you go to my masterclass, I've got a masterclass, which I'll leave in the links in the description and in the pinned comments to Bank 50K in 50 days. I challenge you to do this with me in the visible world as well as the vibrational world. And I'll talk about the vibrational world in a second. And all of this is to say, you're growing to be a version of you. Anyway, I digress. So I you know, whatever vibration you're vibing at, it's just you work through it. So the relationship with me, I'm tweaking. So I've been doing my workouts, blah, blah, blah. I've been running, all the things, but I haven't been hitting it all last week because I have my cycle. That's my relationship, knowing my health, blah, blah, blah. So today I was like, well, it's a low calorie day for me. So I'm not going to do my insanity. This is how the universe works. This is the relationship, my relationship with my guidance, my guides, my angels, with my intentions of manifesting my vision. So I was like, well, Robin knows this. No, Robin doesn't know this story because you probably haven't listened to the voice notes. So you know, when you get that guidance and those nudges, that's when you don't have to listen to everybody else. You listen to your source, your soul guidance. That's why I say soul guided influencers. So I was like, well, I'm not going to do my insanity and my running on my low calorie days, which absolutely makes sense in hindsight, right? Because I'm like, I'm not hitting it. And I want to feel good while I'm building my spiritual business, while I'm doing the Bank 50K in 50 days. And the relationship with me is important, and my health and my emotions, all things. So I got ready. Although I'd said that to myself, I got ready, put my mat out, I'm looking down because I got my mat, got my trainers, got my belt thing, got my things to strap my leg up. And I was like, oh, it's low calorie day. So I don't do insanity today now because I just decided like an hour ago. And I already come out of my office. I got up at like 4:44. I'd done my tapping, all of the stuff. I'd done tapping on banking 50K in 50 days. If you're in the Soul Legacy Academy, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you don't, I'll let you know on the masterclass. Then I did my tapping for my relationship and blah, blah, blah. If you don't know, I'm single. I'm on the spiritual dating journey, all the things. So I was like, what am I going to do with this half an hour before I go live? And so I was like, I rang my friend. She lives in London. She didn't answer, not like her. I'm like, okay, what else can I do? So I don't usually have like the gap in my day. I practice my daily routines and rituals that are going to support me. So I was like, okay, I've got half an hour and 35 minutes, whatever. So I checked my emails, which I rarely do, and not all of my emails in my inbox. And so one of the email inbox, I've got like 5. How many have you got? Like, I've got 5, right? So I looked in it, and it has an email from a home exchange. And I was talking a few months ago about exchanging my environment. I like this home, but I wanted to live nearer the lake. That fell through. So I was like, okay, well, I just won't do it. I'll just focus on buying my barn conversion, banking 50k in 50 days. Gonna need to do that. So anyway, I got this email, and it was from an area that's close to London where my friend lives. And part of my relationships, so I talk about relationship freedom and dating and all the stuff. I've got a second YouTube channel, Spiritual Dating, Awakened Soulmates, Marriage CV. I'm on that journey to date for marriage, right? So I've been talking to someone who lives, I'm smiling because I'm just like, it sounds quite crazy, but this is the way that the universe works. This is how the universe brought me into union with my twin flame. I share that story. So I'm just like watching and observing. I trust it. So I trust the nudges. I don't have to jump and do everything. But anyway, so yesterday, because he lives really far, it's like he said in a voice note, oh, well, it'd be probably different if you lived around the corner. And I'm like, dude, just living around the corner. Eventually I want to get married and thinking all these things, but it would make it easy. We're both not driving. So today, when I have this opening and I've already decided I'm not going to do my workout, because I would have been in the throes of my workout, not checking my email. I rarely check them. So I checked it, and I got this email at 1 o'clock in the morning. And this lady had said that she'd like to move. I'm literally around the corner from her sister, who she's trying to get support from. Again, a relationship, right? And I'm like, okay. And she said, would I like to do a multi-swap? Because she probably wouldn't think that I'd want to live anywhere near where she is. She's really far. She's like London way. So I looked up the place. And normally if I get a message, which I haven't had for months, I would look at the place that's closest to me. So say, hey, if you're on live with me, this is, Robin says, be right back. No worries. Jennifer says, morning, Jennifer. I'm telling the story of relationships and relationship freedom. So thank you for jumping on with me. Relationship Freedom Friday, right? So this is how relationships form. This is how the universe supports you in bringing new relationships or having relationships exit out, right, of your life. So so I got this message. So I looked to see how far this property was. And instead of looking close to me, I looked close to the person that I've been speaking to. I say soulmates, and had a real deep soul connection with, but the humanness and the practicals are just not like literally working out. And I don't force things. I go in ease, grace, and flow. And if you ever watches this, you'll know, right? And so I was like, okay, well, let's just pause that, because it just doesn't. It's not like, I'm not doing that. So yes, but this situation just feels a little bit weird. So he said yesterday, oh, well, the universe, whatever this is, the universe will, if it's part of the bigger plan, we both trust that it would come round for us, not forcing it. So this message from the woman, so I put in the address that's closest, from the address where she is closest to him, because I knew it was far away from me, but it sounded London way. I'm not very good with geography. Anyway, it was 18 minutes from him, right? I live I think it's over 2 hours. So I was like, oh, well, that's really funny, isn't it? So I put in his area, and I just laughed. And I thought, if I hadn't decided that I wasn't going to do my workout today because it's a low calorie day, and if I hadn't just sat there, which I don't do, that's when you know that the universe is giving you nudges, giving you signs of this is something you hadn't thought of. I'd thought of moving and stuff and doing what have you, but it's like, it just shows you, it just nudges you. When you think that something is an impossible situation, there's another perspective. And usually for listening, the universe will guide you. And I'm not saying I'm going to go and jump and I'm going to go move, but it's something I've talked about with my daughter, and where I am, the cycle is complete. We've been here a really long time and we wanted to move anyway. So out of the blue, so I messaged the woman and I said, why would you say a multi-swap? I'm definitely not doing that. My friend that lives in London had done a swap. She's been there like 5 years. So I know it works. And we've been talking every day lately, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, oh, well, look, let me see the opening here. And as I'm just on this live, she's just messaged me. I don't know how it will go. I don't know if that will be the opening, whether that would be the thing that shifts the energy around this connection, but there's definitely a connection for a new relationship to come into my life or not. And I'd said, I'm open to speaking to other people, just seeing. And I spoke to another person, right? And so, good morning, Jennifer. Oh, Robin's back. Thank you, Robin. So this is what I was messaging you, Robin, this morning. Jennifer says, universe will make it magical and better than ever expected. Thank you. I know, right? Because you can see me smiling, I'm beaming. I think it's really funny. So I was like, well, would this work? Would this be a blah, blah, blah? I opened up to speak to somebody else because I only speak to one person at a time because integrity, while you're dating on these dating apps, can be a bit freaky. And I met my twin flame on the dating app, so I trust it as well, right? But just going slowly. So I spoke to somebody else who is into all of the things that I'm into, journaling, meditation. If you know guys, like, I don't know that many guys like that. They've never really been in my world, but I set that intention. He shows up, business consultant, work from home. I've got all this love list. So I wrote a love list the last time, like 4 years ago, and lots of it manifested. I've tweaked my love list. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Work from home, traveled the world, wants to travel again, has grown up children, like grown up, journals, meditates, fasts, goes to the gym, cycling, all these things. I'm like, wow. However, in that conversation, we spoke for about an hour and a half. Knows love languages, was talking about, this is the book that I'm going to talk about today, if you know the 5 love languages. And I said, well, you know, what's your love language? He's like, well, that'll have to be for the next conversation. I'm like, dude, what's your love language? It's like, anyway, the way that he spoke to me about masculine energy, feminine energy, blah, 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 all the things, I'm like, I don't like the way that you speak to or about women. Not this woman. Anyway, I know myself very, very well. And I'm just like, even though you look on the surface or baked, cooked, more of the finished article than the person that I've been speaking to, absolutely, unequivocally, unmatched, we're done. And to the point of I'm looking down, my favorite author, Iona Van Zandt, favorite author in the whole entire world. Books change lives, right? The Iona Van Zandt is the first person, is why I'm where I'm at, to be fair, I would say. And I've got 3 of her books, right? I've got 3 of her books, one on the coffee table. And on the hinge, on the prompt, when I was speaking to this person, I haven't spoken to anybody else in months. So I was speaking to this person and I said, who would need prompts, journal prompts, when you grow, like not journal prompts, prompts to speak on an app when you're grown? And he's like, oh, I beg to differ. Some people are not that confident. So we looked down and it said, what's your favorite book? So I mentioned Iona Van Zandt. He'd read the book. It's a Black woman's empowerment book, right? Literally my favorite author. And how he got that book was through a friend 5 or 6 years ago. And his friend passed in September. And his friend passed, and I was like, I believe those guides, angels, people, they're doing whatever they need to do, universe, whatever. This book he's read, it changed his life. His friend had given him it, a guy. It changed his life. And the guy's mum had given him the book. I don't know this guy, just telling me this story. I want to share it with you. Again, the nudges. And he said that he was sitting with his friend's wife who passed, and said, oh my gosh, the book that he gave me absolutely changed my life. He said his mum gave it to him, and his wife said, I gave his mum the book. So the book went full circle. She gave the mum the book, the mum gave her son the book, the son gave his friend the book. Iona Van Zandt's value in the valley, value in the valley. And if you haven't read it, it's beautiful. And he said, oh my gosh, and he gave her back the book, and then he's brought lots of copies, to the point of getting on the call with somebody saying, I'm going to open up to speak to somebody else, and then being what in paper would look like a match, and my soul wasn't having none of it, like none of the touches at all. And so the person that I'm speaking to, I don't know if something will come of it or not, but just that, well, if you just live around the corner, literally hours, less than 24 hours, probably less than 12 hours later, somebody messaging me saying, you live around the corner from my sister, whom I want to get support with. It's just so beautiful, so bizarre, so magical when we trust that we set an intention. I want to meet my soulmate and get married, right? Like, I left one relationship and wanted to manifest another one. It's on my vision board. So when we do our vision board, when we raise our vibration, I've been doing my tapping again, one for Bank 50K in 50 days, and for the ideal relationship to come into my life. I love the way that the universe works. So I wanted to share that with you. One, mark the day, two, see what happens, and just to say thank you. That relationship with me, and the relationship with you, because I can say that to you and know now that you don't think I'm a crazy lady, because you know the experience. Soul guided influences. That's what we need more of. People sharing the journey. No, I just want to be an influencer and I want to be on YouTube. Don't know why I'm doing that voice, but it feels appropriate. Like it irks me that, you know, not enough people in my world, in I believe in the world, are showing up, speaking out and serving deep and just being raw and real. Just share your life experience. Jennifer says that's beautiful. Tapping is so lovely. So I did the tapping, and then my twin flame relationship came in to form, and I did the tapping for 50K and the relationship for 2 weeks at the same time. And this whole process, Bank 50K in 50 days, came around because of that relationship. And I was like, oh, and I'm doing it again. And I'm like, okay, work a second time. I'm like, yes, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's all intertwined in the relationship, where I'm saying Bank 50K in 50 days, beautiful. Let me read the card. I've got two today. So I'm going to read this one. They literally jumped out. So this is charity. This is prayer and contemplation, which I'd just written down about in the 5 love languages. He was talking about somebody doing prayer. And I thought, oh, wow. So this came out. It says, connect with heaven, ask and you shall receive. So when I got this message earlier, this card, this was before this happened, I was like, well, I've been asking this morning, so let's see if I shall receive. I literally had thought that. Yes, exactly. Badass. So let's see if you resonate with this, because I believe it's for me and for you. And if you have anything that comes up, write it down in your spiritual journal. Faith and hope and charity are the Trinity angels who are dedicated to helping us regain our natural traits of kindness, trust and faith in the highest good. Charity is the twin flame of Archangel Camille, I think that says. And she has a great spirit that encourages us to undertake the spiritual practices and prayer and meditation. Prayer is the way we speak with the divine, and meditation is the way we open ourselves to receive the answers we need to hear. Can I get an amen? Charity also, is also the angel who kisses the forehead of all those who pray in support of others. She absolutely, and that's kind of what I do when I it's not a prayer, it's just I set an intention and just speak this and just want to show up for you, you know. So feel the energy of that. For all those who pray for the support of others, she absolutely loves to see the kindness, because it creates an inspirational, healing wave of goodwill to the world. Eek! I love it. Extended message. The powerful Archangel Charity is drawing close to you at this time, because she has recognized that you have the goodness in your heart and you put others first. Does that resonate? I know you have the goodness in your heart, but in relationships, do you tend to put others first? I had done, and I'm learning not to as much, and I call that leaning over, and I'm kind of just recentering and aligning. Hang on, let me just, you put others first. She brings you thanks and support. Move into prayer and meditation with regard to any decisions you have to make at this time. So yeah, you have it. That's why I tell the story, because it's like, okay, you are guided to take this time to breathe and receive. Know that you will, excuse me. Know that you will have a real surge of intuition when it's time to move forwards. Thank the angels for guiding you towards your highest good and welcome charity into this space with you. Is that beautiful? Robin says, I'll be right back for the parts I missed. Thank you for sharing with us. Love you, love you, billions. Love you too. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. My voice is going. That's all the excitement. Excuse me. Is that beautiful? So this is the second card that was pulled. Occasionally 2 cards will come up. Lady Venus. So this is one is downloads and understanding. I just love it. Truth is being revealed. Deep insights are coming from heaven and the astral realm. I'm just saying. Says Jennifer says, yes, it's very beautiful. It's gorgeous, isn't it? Yeah, truth is being revealed. So let me read this one. Excuse me. Lady Venus is the twin flame of Satna Kamara and is said to reside on the astral realm surrounding the planet Venus. The light beings of Venus, Venus known as Venetian, so men are from Mars, women are from Venus, or whichever way it is around, are now coming to light workers on Earth to help them with their connections, understanding, and the capacity to share divine love. Every single day, it's relationship freedom. I think this is beautiful. Lady Venus is a wonderful keeper of light to call on when you are trying to forge connection with the heavens or finding it difficult to understand the signs, the symbols, and guidance that are being sent to you physically or through meditation. Yeah, we understand the signs. We're good. It's so funny. She also allows, just so like you can, cement the message. So if you're receiving signs, cement the message whenever this is that you're watching this. She also allows us to connect with or focus on particular energies so that we can understand them more. She also allows us to connect with or focus on particular energies so we can understand them more. If you are studying a spiritual subject at this time, call on Lady Venus to help you. The extended message. Hearing high-pitched tones, which I do. Hearing high-pitched tones. I can't remember when I heard the last one. I think it was yesterday. And I was like, oh, high-pitched tones or high-pitched noises, seeing flickering light and having the sense that beings are visiting you in your sleep are all signs that you are receiving downloads from heaven. Whenever this is happening, spend some time in contemplation so that you can ask the universe what you really need to know. This card also represents downloads of information being received by your mind. Know that the universe sees you as capable of holding soul-centered information that will help you and others reach a new level of understanding. For me, I'm just like, okay, can I get an amen? It's just beautiful. Jennifer says, sorry, Jennifer, says perfect. It's always on time and perfect, just as is. Lovely, isn't it? And the butterflies is just the emojis. So let's go to, we talked about throat chakra. We talked about the crystal, the book that I read today, and then we'll do gratitude, and then we'll wrap up with the vibrational money voucher for Bank 50K in 50 days. So the book that I read today, or listened to, just a snippet, was Love Languages, the 5 love languages. Let me know if you know of the 5 love languages. I'll list them in case you don't. And if you know your primary love language, when I moved into my twin flame union, I'd done the 5 love languages quiz, and I had a top 3. And I thought that words, or maybe it was then, words are really big to me. Words of affirmation. But now it's more so quality time. And I don't know if that's what's going on in the world or that's what I was lacking in that relationship, but it's quality time. And I feel that even more. So the 5 love languages are quality time, words of affirmation, physical touch, acts of service, and gifts. I always say gifts last because gifts is not mine. I like gifts, but it's not my primary love language. So do you know what your primary love language is? And do you give love in a different way? Do you receive it well? Or do you get a lot of it from the people that are around you? Whether that's in a romantic sense, whether that's from your children. They have the 5 love languages, Dr. Gary Chapman. And this guy had said, it was the day before yesterday, he said, I know my love language. And I was just like, really? Like, you're not going to tell me? I literally unmatched him. And at the end of the conversation, he's like, you're gonna delete me, aren't you? And I said, what do you mean? And I was like, absolutely. And so when I've gone on the dating app and the person that I'm talking about, that connection, I asked, what are your love language? And our love languages are very similar. And first being quality time, I'm like, yes. Okay, so a move would mean more quality time, because I'm just like, I'm not about to enter a relationship where I know that I'm not going to be loved in my one of my primary love languages. That's just, I'm going to be an unhappy version of me, and that's going to show up on here, and you're not going to like it, I'm not going to like it, he's not going to like it. Just saying. So those are the primary love languages. So love languages, Dr. Gary Chapman talks about love languages. I'm reading the book for singles right now, but the book initially was for couples. They have a version of the men's one. I love that one. They have a version, he has a version for children and teenagers as well. It's super, super powerful. And he says that basically we give love and receive love. It might be in this one language, but we can give and receive in different love languages. But when we are loved in that way, our love tank feels full. And so me coming out of my twin flame union was partly, well, all of, because of the love languages not being loved in that certain way, not because he didn't know how, but just because our lifestyle and our vision would mean that it just wasn't compatible for the long term. It was compatible for as is, and the intentional living codes and the 7 freedoms was birthed from that relationship. The cycle was complete. And so now I'm like, okay, well, this is in terms of my relationships, this is how I want to be loved, and I can explain that. And spending time. So last Friday I went out for dinner with my friends. That just lights me up. And so it's spending that quality time. And I go, before we leave, let's arrange another time, dude. They were all girls, but I'm like, dude. And we did, and we've got a spa, like a hot tub, in one of our friends in August. First everybody's like, when it's your birthday, we're gonna go out. And I'm like, yay, I love my birthday. So it's all relationships, how you give love and receive love, and being mindful that not everybody's is the same, and asking somebody to learn a love language. Like if you were asking me to learn gifts, I probably find it really hard. And usually Dr. Gary Chapman says that if, say, my love language is quality time and I'm not getting that, so say words of affirmation, if words are being spoken to me in a harsh way, then it's going to affect me more because I'm not getting it. So if my primary love language is quality time and I'm not getting that, I'm not going to feel loved in the way that, even if somebody's giving me gifts and doing acts of service for me, I'm still, the spouse, whoever it is going to be like, well, I'm loving her so hard and she's just not receiving it. It's like, yeah, I do, because my love language is this and this. So do you know what your primary love language is? Journal on it. Journal on ways, if you are feeling loved in a particular relationship, what's working, whether that's with your children, whether it's with a spouse, whether if you're single, then learning this and then going back and looking at other relationships. It matters, because you learn what you did get and what you didn't get, and then you don't project that onto somebody else. And so my daughter's just messaging me. I keep saying Robin because Robin's normally the one that comments. Thank you, Jennifer. Jennifer says a move could bring more magic than you could expect. Yeah. I've heard of the love language. Thank you, beautiful. I've heard of the love languages, but not really dug into it. I've been working with self inquiries and duality. Or have you? I haven't heard of that. The love languages, the way that my twin flame union played out was because of the love languages. it was in ease, grace and flow. We didn't argue. We didn't argue right up until like we'd split. Like we'd had like words, but not anything like that. And he'd say the same thing. It was the most healthy relationship that I'd had. And actually speaking to the person that I'm speaking to now, or the person that I've got the connection to, I would say, because we haven't even met. But there's a connection and it's really, really deep, and it's been months and it won't go away. On either side, it's like, what the heck? And it's just really beautiful, and just to know, and he's like, it's the way that somebody makes you feel. And because when you have a similar love language, and for your children as well, they feel their love. It's really worth exploring. I have it on Audible. There is a version of it on YouTube for free. I don't know how all the copyrights and stuff, but it is in a playlist that I've created. So check it out, have a look. So in the book, Dr. Gary Chapman talks about the way that, you know, that the way that you feel in life, giving love and receiving love is going to determine just how you're showing up in the world, just how you're being. And everyone wants to feel loved and give love in a certain kind of way. That's what builds a human experience, right? I love it. One thing I wanted to mention as well is that vibration of love. Obviously, this woman, excuse me, is feeling the love for her sister, and her sister feeling the love for her, for that support. And just, we are love, right? And so that energy of love, that self-love journey, how we experience life shows others just who we are, just what we're made of. So I just randomly got a message from one of my nephew's mums. I used to be really good friends with her years and years, and I mean years ago, like over a decade ago. So I'm thinking how old he is now, and I think he might be like late teens, early 20s. And I'm like, wow. When I saw, the last time I saw him was on in the lockdown. We were doing like a family quiz in a Zoom room. Before, I hadn't seen him from when he was really little. And she messaged me on Messenger and said, this is kind of just what the message read today. Just today, this is the manifestations, right? When you raise your vibration. She said, I just, JD and I were just talking about you. I just had to message you because we were talking about you. I just had to say something like, they were thinking about me, just that, admiring just how strong and as strong a woman I am. And I'm like, oh, wow. They were talking about me, and they had to message me. My daughter's, oh shoot. Oh gosh. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, my daughter's messaging me. Can you see me again? So I'll ignore it. So they just messaged me just out of the blue, and I was like, you know, I'm a crier. And it just, you know, when you think that you feel lonely, I felt lonely as a light worker. I felt misunderstood. I felt crazy. I'm like, people don't get me, blah, blah, blah. Do not ring me. My friend's like, are you busy to talk now? And you just get that, you know, people get you more than what you even know. And people have big love for you, even when you don't know. Jennifer says, you're fine. I love Robin. Today is my day off. That's why you're oh, thank you for being here with me. I'm able to be here now. Thank you. I wish I could interact more while working. I enjoy your shows. Thank you, love. So for those of you who don't know, Robin is my lead soul guiding instructor. I say our lead soul guiding instructor for the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network and the Soul Legacy Academy, which I'm the founder and the producer of. I was coaching Robin, and I met Robin as I was doing a vision board challenge, and I had the Spiritual Business Women's Network. And so you've been connected to Robin, and then through Robin, then you've come here on the Soul Legacy TV. So I love that. Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that. I apologize. Thank you. I've had techie stuff today. Anyway, so I'm going to wrap up with gratitude, and I'll use this as a journal prompt, and then we'll do the Bank 50K in 50 Days challenge. So gratitude, this is from a gratitude stone that I use. It's just any stone that you want to, or you can just hold the stone, whatever, or just soul speak it into existence. Use it as a spiritual journal prompt every single day. This is my daughter gave me this. Obviously it looks like a love heart. So she was really little, we'd pass around the stone, and with my son as well. It's 7 years since my son passed. He made his transition. I dedicate my work to my son and that guidance. And I'm like, thanks. I said thank you to him this morning. I'm like, okay, thank you. You know, all the things. So we used to pass around the gratitude stone. And I know that you've heard of gratitude, and the way that I do it, for what I say intentional living, this relationship freedom Friday is part of the whole system for intentional living, and I call it one of the 7 freedoms. And so each freedom, the acronym stands for Cheers to Financial Freedom Frequency. We want to vibrate at the energy that we want to witness in the world, a higher vibration. If we have contrast, that's okay. But saying gratitude in our spiritual journal helps us to raise the vibration of for ourselves, for our family, for our planet, just emitting that vibration. And also for the things to manifest on your spiritual vision board. Again, if you haven't done that, you can find it in the cards or in the description. I'll leave that there for you. 4 things to manifest on your vision board. You need to feel them. So when I'm thinking about the relationship, regardless whether it's him or not, it's just, I feel that, like I feel my husband. Do you know what I mean? The other week I was dancing. I went out on a run and I was listening to a song, and I was like, I sent him the song and I was dancing, and I was dancing in my living room with my husband. Do you know what I mean? It's just beautiful. So we say gratitude for each of the 7 freedoms. So I'm going to say gratitude for today, relationships, but for all of the freedoms: contribution freedom, health freedom, emotional freedom, environmental freedom, relationship freedom, spiritual freedom, and financial freedom. You want to bring all of that in every single day. So we don't just notice our relationships on, because Iona says it's Relationship Freedom Friday, or we don't just notice our finances on Financial Freedom Sunday. We want to bring that in every single day so that we're emitting that vibration, and we're just really enjoying the process and just saying thank you to the universe. So Jennifer says, I know, a beautiful stone. She found another one and I gave it to my twin flame, a smaller one. So we'd say gratitude together, or we'd speak it out, we'd speak it into existence. So it's a beautiful exercise to do with your children, your partner. And I love how your baby is involved. Yeah, she's amazing. And my son, yeah, absolutely, is the way. Yeah, thank you. So I say I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate. And so my daughter yesterday, she came down, she's not in now, she came downstairs and she goes, I just wanted to see you before you went on your live. I'm like, okay, love. She gave me a hug and she goes, you're gonna go on your run later? And I said, yeah. I didn't go until later, but just that, she's 19, Mia. And I say I dedicate my work to my son. I'm a role model for my daughter. She watches me. I say I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate. And doing something consistently and having your offspring watch you, it matters, because when we look at our childhood, it's like, I could have used some more guidance, right? There wasn't as much as what's, there wasn't the YouTube that there is now. It wasn't YouTube at all, right? But there's different modes of media, TV, which I don't really watch, all those things. So I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate for each of the freedoms. So use this as a journal prompt for your spiritual journal. I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate. I also like to say that, because sometimes when people use gratitude, it could be for a lack of something. And when you're just happy, you're happy, you feel the vibration of happiness and you're appreciating. So Abraham Hicks says the mode of and the vibration of appreciation is different from gratitude, because people do, like, you're appreciating something, but when you're grateful, you're kind of thinking of the thing of that you didn't have or you don't have. So whichever, so we do them all. So we're like, yes, we're getting that vibration, whichever, like, is the feeling that you want to tap into. And I also say, if something comes up in each of these 7 freedoms, each of these areas, sometimes you might think, I don't have anything to be grateful for. The relationships I have suck, right? Or I've gone through a messy divorce and blah, blah, blah. I have personally all the things. My twin flame union ended. So super happy and grateful for that. Think of something in your past that you're grateful for, something in your present or something in your future. If something doesn't come to mind that's in present, you just go to the past. Or if you've done your spiritual vision board with me, think of something in the future that you're grateful for. Like, thanks in advance, I like to call it. So we've covered all bases, right? So I had put really quickly for me, that's my alarm going off because I've been on here long. New subscribers for my contribution. This is a messy live today, but it's live, right? Health for my body, just having that awareness, and just having that awareness of my own health, my own body. I'm just really happy. My relationship with me and my body, which has changed over time, because like I said, I was painfully thin, really painfully thin, and I've got curves, and I'm like, yes, and I feel happy, and I feel healthy, and I feel whole, all the things. For emotions, my hormones, having that awareness and the relationship with me, how I've changed, and just coming into like that space of loving where I am anyway. For environment, to engage and my environment supporting me, and just not being attached to my environment, and being open to a move or traveling or what have you, being able to build my business in an environment where if I want to travel wherever I've got an internet connection. So if I moved, my business wouldn't skip a beat. Do you know what I mean? That's the business that I wanted to create. That's what I wanted to have as my spiritual business success. Relationships, just having so many, and so it's a beautiful message today. Spirituality, the vibration, the signs, the synchronicities, just love it. Really, I would bask in it more and more. And then finances, blessing my money, having that relationship, my palms itch, and I was excited. I'm like, yes, blessing my money that's going in, and blessing my money that's coming in and going out, and having a better relationship with money. So if you don't know, I was bankrupt, I was homeless, and I was all the things. So let's do the Bank 50K in 50 days vibrational money voucher. Thank you for staying with me for so long with all the techie stuff. I took a little while to get going, but the Soul Legacy Journal, which we use, the spiritual journal, every single day, is a magical journal. So you might know this, bask in it. Thank you, love. Yeah, just really bask in that feeling. So this is just a prompt for you to notice how you're feeling all day long, because we've had that conversation. There's the magic that happens after the conversation, and we're not going to talk about relationship freedom again for a whole nother week. So you're journaling on it, setting the intentions, all the things, basking, and see how high vibe you can be in your relationships throughout the week. So the vibrational money voucher that the Soul Legacy Journal gives you is to spend your vibrational money. It's £1,000, dollars or euros, wherever you are in the world. Spend to make memories with your soul clients, your soul client income, soul family influence, and soul tribe impact is what I stand for. And so the Soul Legacy Journal is part of my spiritual business success, as well as my spiritual vision board and all the things that I've talked about, and having the daily rituals and routines that are going to support me without thinking I've got to contribute in the world and not being able to receive the money. The Banking 50K in 50 days means that I'm able to serve deeper. It means if I'm receiving that money, is I've given that energy exchange. So you want to think of it like that. So we want to spend it every single day. You tithe 10% to a worthy cause. The worthy cause that I tithe my 10% to is Cruise Bereavement Care, because they helped me when I was going through the loss of my son. So tithe 10%, that's $100 every single day. Even if you don't spend all of your vibrational money voucher that day, if something hasn't come up, if something comes up throughout the day or throughout the week, you can spend your vibrational money voucher. If you don't want to spend it every single day other than tithing, you can carry over the remaining balance to the next day and then the next day, but no more than Financial Freedom Sundays. You've got to spend it. If you do not spend it by Financial Freedom Sunday, on Financial Freedom Sunday, you'll lose it. And you don't want to be sending out the vibration, I'm losing money. So if you're in it, I say bank 50K in 50 days, do it for 50 days with me. I'm going to do it every day anyway. And there's another rule that you do not get to spend the money on bills, utility bills. You want to come from the space that they are taken care of. So if you are working a soul sucking day job, I was cleaning homes, and I was living intentionally, and I was doing journaling, and I was doing visualization. I was doing all the visualization of I would be here in front of you, not necessarily on the YouTube channel, but I was doing a daily vlog. but this is how it's come about. So you want to think of your bills as done, even if you're working, think of what spiritual business success means to you, and think of your business, of that energy exchange. It's banking 50K in 50 days. You're receiving enough money. Your bills, if you had 50K in 50 days, would you be good? So 50K, you think 50,000? Well, that's what the Soul Legacy Journal is giving you every single day for 50 days. And you get to try that vibration on, right? You get to try, what would you do with that money? Who would you spend that money with? What date nights would you have? Would you move? Right? Would you set up? Would you leave the job? Do you know what I mean? What would you be doing with your days if your days were free? What would you be spending on your children, going out and having experiences? I'm not all about the money. However, I'm not all about not having the money, because I've not had it and it's not fun, it's not cool. And I've dragged my kids along that journey. I didn't have enough money to bury my son. My mum had to bury my son. That's not cool. I had my own like life insurance, but like 12 days before his 20th birthday, he had his own insurance. He had his daughter, but like, you don't think that that's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Life is for living, having the experiences. When you go through your spiritual awakening, life looks and feels differently. Make the most of it. Make the most of it. So I invite you to spend it. Jennifer says, I like that. No bills. Because that's what I wanted. I when I was going through homelessness, I went through a really messy divorce, which spiraled into being £160,000 in debt, being homeless, having my home repossessed, living in a homeless unit with my daughter for 6 months in the same bed, and living away from my son, who was a teenager at the time. By a couple of years after that, he'd passed. Like, who wants to give those experiences to the kids? Like, I'm not saying I'm making myself wrong, but I'm saying when I know better, I do better. And it's not about, oh, well, I just want the money. No, I want to build a spiritual business that is successful and including in contribution. I'm not going to give everything away for free. I'm here doing this for free. This is part of my job. Like, I'm just sitting here, got my, actually then my daughter's workout leggings on because I'm going to go for my run. Just chilling, just having a conversation. Your money comes through conversations. It comes through value. So no bills come from that vibration. And if you've never even thought of what that would actually feel like, bask in it. It's beautiful. No worries, no bills. Jennifer says, only got bills paid off in my, is that your head? What on earth could I do with 50K play money? Right? So it is, it's like 50K, 50 days. So the reason why I created the number 50K, I think I've done like 50K in 90 days and 100K in 100 days, like programmed before. But when I looked at my life and I was like, what environment I wanted to live in. So I said I was homeless, right? Well, I had that deep contrast of like, I want to own my home outright and I wanted to live in a barn conversion. My ex-husband did roofs, like thatching, like straw roofs. So I used to go to work with him and the kids used to go to work with him. And we got to see some fine houses. Like, I'm like, wow. And these people, I was like, what do they do for a job? And they were like, they're self-employed. I'm like, what is that? I didn't even know what being self-employed was. And they'd have swimming pools and blah, blah, blah. And I got to see that they were just ordinary people. You know, you kind of had this idea, like, well, I grew up in the ghetto, let me tell you, right? I grew up in the ghetto. My mum didn't have us living in the ghetto, but that's where I spent my time, right? So I didn't see that. I did not see that. And so it opened up my eyes. Again, a relationship just expanded. And so I was like, well, there's a possibility. And so I was doing my degree at the time and people were speaking to me and they put me in these testimonials and all the things. So I worked hard, I grafted with him and helped him out. And so he said that people are talking to you like, not talking down to me. And I was having a conversation and he's like, you're able to have a conversation. I'm like, well, why wouldn't I? So it just helped me shift. And when I went through the bankruptcy and came offline to help heal myself first after my son passed, I was cleaning homes. right? So when I say soul sucking day job, I put my headphones on, I cleaned homes. So again, I was in different homes and I got to see how the other half live. And I did my job so well. The idea was to do the job so that when they came home, it was like, they could afford to pay me, which was like my full-time income, like 3 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago. They could pay to have me clean their home. And I was like, when I was online, people were like, I can't afford to pay you to do this work. And I'm like, nah, dude, like we have to shift up some stuff. There's light workers who've got a lot, LOL, who've got a lot of work to do in the world. And it is when we heal our relationship with money, we can go pay a cleaner, we can pay somebody to do the windows, all things that we don't want to do. Like, why would you do that? That's somebody's job. That's somebody's livelihood. They paid me to clean homes. And I got to see how different homes were. So the 50K came from me saying, I want to have a barn conversion. When I saw the homes that my ex-husband was working on, the roofs, they were like cottages and barns. And I was like, I want one of them. And I know that it's going to cost me money. So I set that vision and it was 50K months. 600,000 in a year was 50K months. I had not seen anybody around me that was doing that. So I'm like, how do I become a vibrational match? And so it's been a journey. I share it on my masterclass. It's been a journey. And I've built a business, not only that can bank 50K in 50 days easily and effortlessly with me being here, just here, and it can be banking 50K in passive income, leverage income, but I love what I do. And I've scheduled it out for the next 7 years. So I just really don't have to touch old things. I was like, can I get an amen for the vision board? It works. Jennifer says, people follow their purpose. Beautiful. Yeah. I started out saying, I did my interview series and it was the #1 divine intervention virtual event. And that event, I didn't know I was going to have a divine intervention. That's when my son passed. I had to pause it. And the Keepers of the Light, they've got a card in here. I don't know whether it would just come out and come. There's a card in here that looks like my son. I share it on my episode of the Soul Legacy TV. I don't know if I'll find it. Let me see. It looks like my son. Let me share it with you. Let me go to the front. And so this is where the Keepers of the Light, this is why I pull it. All the things are connected. Let me show you. The Divine Director, page 100. I won't forget that again. It looks like my son. Now, if you saw Darnell Samuel Mead, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see it? Sorry. It looks like him. He never had long hair, but the picture, just to see how bright that went, the picture of on my 40th birthday that I share, he looked even more like that. He had a denim top on. But Kyle Gray, I was doing his angel course, and he said, look in the deck. Everybody was talking to everybody. Look in the deck and see if you see somebody that resembles a family member. If you see these cards, most of these cards are not going to resemble a family member. So that Divine Director, this is the thing. It's the Divine Director, intervention and purpose. Divine intervention is occurring. Know that you're being guided. Happiness is your purpose. So I have that with me. My event was called the #1 Divine Intervention virtual event. Daniel knew about it, and then he made his transition in the way that he made his transition. And I'm just like, wow, it's just beautiful. Can I get an amen? Did I say that? I probably did say amen. Can I get an amen? Thank you. So my event was how to fulfill your life's purpose and get paid in the process. I went on a mission. I fulfilled my purpose for a year, and then I came offline. So my system back then was called the Purpose to Profit system. It's now called the Soul Legacy Launch Blueprint. It's the same system, but I've up leveled it. Do you know what I mean? It's just beautiful. So speaking of that, I have my masterclass. I'll wrap up. I want to respect your time. I have my masterclass. It's for spiritual biz YouTubers. And it's bank 50K in 50 days. And like I said, I'd scheduled out all of my business, passive income streams, leveraging income streams, and my book, and all the things. And when I wanted to do my work in the world, I was outpriced on everything. And I was like, how can the gurus say that I am their soul client, that I'm, well, the ideal client, and outprice me? I was homeless. That's when I needed the help the most. And so I made a vow when I figured this out, I would share it far wide and deep, which I'm doing. I've made that vow, and I would never let anybody be outpriced on my services. $55. I'm now re-recording it, my 5-day YouTube from scratch challenge. $55. People go, you should charge 500 for it. I'm like, absolutely. I know I should. Will I? No, I will not. Because I was outpriced. I was homeless. I was bankrupt. I was like, I was on the floor. I was on the floor. So I talk about it in my masterclass a lot. So happiness and love is our true self, 100%. So the masterclass, I'll show you how to speak to, serve, and sign up with soul clients. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful process. It's a system. There's a framework. I have my book, which is called Spiritual YouTubers from Scratch, a soul-guided influencers compass to leverage your light work and lifestyle on YouTube. With my book is a free chapter. With my free chapter is a free chapter VIP day to start, structure, and grow a successful online spiritual business on YouTube with a #1 best-selling book launch, which I've done and I'm doing as a co-author. All the things that I've done, I'm like, when I figure it out, I'm a chef, far wide and deep, without being busy, without being broke, and without being burnt out as I had in the past. And so all of this is what I needed, all of the Soul Legacy Journal. I just didn't know when I was putting the pieces together that it would look the way that it does, and I love it. So I also have my spiritual awakening stories. If you want to be a co-author and share a spiritual awakening story, whether that's through that relationship, through loss, an emotional environment, whatever it is, I'd love to hear from you. I'm gifting a space in my co-author book series. I've been part of 3 co-author book series, 3 that went to #1 bestsellers. I wanted to do my own for years, and I've put it together in a way that is in alignment with the summit. So I've done summits. The #1 Divine Intervention virtual event was a summit, a 49 soul speaker summit. Who does that? Daily speaking, like interviewing. And now my summit is the #1 Spiritual Awakening Summit. And I have 42 episodes, October through to April, on the 2 middle Wednesdays of the month, 9 a.m., 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. UK time. I leverage everything. So that is it. So much blessings and gratitude. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I shall see you on the next episode. Definitely journal out. Invite a fellow light worker in to bank 50K in 50 days with us. Like this video. Give it a thumbs up. Share it out. Click the notification button so you'll get notified when I go live again on Soul Legacy TV every single day for Spiritual Journal with me. Big love. Thank you, Jennifer, for spending this time with me. Thank you, Robin, for coming back on the replay, because I know you will. I love you. Speak to you soon. Take care.